Hi YouTube, welcome to another edition of Horror Hands, and in my last video I went through 5 horror films that I would not survive. So for this video we're going to flip that and I'm going to go through 5 horror films that myself or you or practically anyone could survive. Not that these are necessarily bad films, it's just when I watch them I always think like, come on, you could easily survive this. So we'll get straight into it. So the first horror film that anyone could survive is ATM, which, like I say, is not a bad film, and it's a pretty cool concept. It's these 3 friends, and late one night, really sort of cold, snowy night, they stop into this sort of little building to use the ATM. I've never seen one of these kind of buildings before, but they go inside it, use the ATM, but they are stalked by this hooded figure. It's a really tight concept, and this figure's pretty creepy and pretty imposing. But with ATM, they have so many chances to get away, to run away. Either times where the killer's not around, or times where he's on the floor, or just busy doing something else. And it's one of them where you just shout at the characters like, "Leave now," or "Go there," or "Do that," or "Use this," and yeah, so many opportunities to get out or to evade the killer. There's also 3 of them in this building, so even if it came to it, you'd have a good chance of taking this one killer. But yeah, like I say, not a bad film, but there were times, numerous times throughout this film where I think even someone that's not particularly skilled like me could evade this. So yeah, first on the list is ATM. Okay, next one, and like I say, I'll reiterate, these aren't bad films. In fact, this is an iconic horror film, but I've always thought I'd be able to survive it, and that is Child's Play. So, Child's Play, Chucky, any of the Killer Doll horror films, Puppet Master, Dolly Dearest, things like that, I have to question all of their sort of levels of threat, really. I mean, Chucky, like I say, he's a horror icon, totally awesome character. I love watching him do his thing. But I do have to sort of question, really, how many full-grown adults he'd be able to take down. And I know he kind of tricks people and bamboozles them and sneaks up on them and sort of gets them that way. But ultimately, I really don't think a small doll would be that much of a threat. But credit to Chucky and a lot of others like him. They do manage to do it somehow and manage to churn out numerous films. So they're obviously doing something right. But I'd like to think if a 2-foot soft toy was coming after me, I would be able to survive it. So that's Child's Play. Okay, next up on the list is Frogs. Yeah, which is another one. Whenever I watch it, it just makes me smile that somebody somewhere thought, you know what would be terrifying? Killer frogs. And this is one, even to this day, and it's been a while since I've watched it, but I'm still not sure how the frogs actually killed anyone in the movie. And I remember several scenes of the actors writhing around on the floor with frogs sitting on them, usually like frogs with a distant look in their eye while the actors are screaming. But even if you were covered in these things, I don't know how they kill you. If they don't have teeth, they have no sort of threatening things that they can do, as far as I'm aware. I'm sure someone will correct me if you're up on your frogs. So yeah, I still can't remember how anyone actually died in the film, but with something like frogs, humans, kids, even if you're in a wheelchair or something, which I think Ray Milland's character actually is in the film, so long as you can somewhat move around, I think you'd be okay in a frog situation like this. Fun film, but yeah, this one has always struck me as possibly having the lowest threat level of any horror film. I don't know, it's certainly up there. Okay, next up is From Hell It Came, which has got to feature one of the silliest of the 50s monsters. Really fun film, cool looking creature, but it's a sort of big, chunky, sort of like tree monster that clearly struggles to get around. He sort of shuffles along in the film, and he's like I say, really big and really slow. Takes forever for him to get to you. You could be doing a range of things before he even caught up to you. And even then, when he gets to you, it looks more awkward than anything with his sort of root-like hands and arms. He doesn't really get a great grip on people. So yeah, this one you could run rings around this creature and probably easily dispatch him. So yeah, this one has always made me smile. How A, he even manages to catch up to people, and B, then manages to grab them and then do anything to them. But he does, to give him credit. He does get a few people in this one, and like I say, it's a really enjoyable 50s film if you want to see a cool killer tree movie. But yeah, not very threatening at all, unfortunately. And the last movie on this list of horror films that I think anyone could survive is The Initiation, which is an 80s slasher film. And this one, purely, I personally would survive this one because I wouldn't be there. This is one of these 80s films where a bunch of kids think it would be a fun idea to sneak in somewhere overnight and stay there for the night. So stay in the establishment overnight. In this case, it's a shopping mall, a shopping centre. But there's other ones that do it. They'll sneak into like an abandoned house or a cemetery or like a museum or something and just do it to hang out overnight, which is a concept that I've always thought is really strange and doesn't sound fun in the slightest. Like they're always like, "Oh, it'll be fun," and it's like, I really don't think it will. Like, what would you do? How would you sleep? Where would you sleep? Like, overnight is a long time to be somewhere where there's nothing to do. So I really never got behind these concepts of let's sneak in here because it would be fun. It sounds pretty awful. I think I could take my best friends, and if we snuck into an establishment overnight, it would just be boring. So yeah, Initiation, it's one of them films where I just thought I would so not be in this situation. So therefore, I would survive it. So yeah, that's 5 horror films that I think certainly myself and pretty much anyone else would survive if you're sensible. So let me know what you think of them, and let me know if there's any horror films that you watch that you think you could easily survive. I'm really interested to know. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.